Music. Who here doesn't like listening to music? Whether it's on your iPod, in the car, on the radio, on the computer, everyone listens to music. It keeps us going during the day. It has special meaning to us. We can all relate to some song no matter where we hear it. Now, I know I'm not up on current music as much as some of you are, but when I turn the radio when I'm driving in the car and listen to the popular music stations nowadays, sometimes I can't tell the difference between one artist or another. I don't know why, but for some reason everyone is sounding the same. No one has a distinct voice style anymore. No one has that presence about them that sets them apart. And I personally believe the problem with this is something called auto-tune. And I'm sure you've all heard it before, but today I'm going to describe to you what auto-tune is, why it's a problem, and why something like auto-tune has happened before to the music industry. Auto-tune is a program created by Antares in 1997 that is called a pitch correction plugin. Pretty much what it does is if you sing a note and it's a little bit off pitch, it'll correct it to make it perfect. And on the Antares website, they promote how it saves time in the studio doing useless takes, capturing that perfect performance, making sure that whenever you sing, it sounds perfect. Now, perfection is fine, but it's sometimes the imperfections that make an artist great. And the reason that auto-tune becomes so popular is that an artist you probably all know called T-Pain starts using it as his gimmick. Pretty much, he sings through an auto-tune all the time, and it gives his voice a distinct style. And while that sounds fine and good for one artist to start using it, eventually more artists began copying T-Pain and using his auto-tune more frequently. For example, Kanye West released his latest album, and almost every single song on the album is sung in auto-tune. Since then, almost many different artists have begun using it. It's come to the point where, like I said, I can turn on the radio and not tell who each artist is because they all sound like they have a robotic tinge to their voice. Now, some people may say that this isn't a problem, that having everyone sound the same and it's popular, it's making money, why change it? Now, this may sound great because you're getting a good profit from it, but it limits the artist's creativity. For example, Rick Rubin, who's an extremely famous producer who's worked with the Dixie Chicks, he's worked with Jay-Z, he's worked with Metallica, did an interview with Time magazine in February of this year. And he said that he personally does not believe in auto-tune because it limits their creativity, and sometimes the best performances, the most emotional performances you'll get from an artist come when you do countless retakes and countless times over and over on the same song. And so at that point, the artist expresses their creativity and their individuality instead of succumbing to the masses and succumbing to an automated voice tuner. In addition, some people think, oh, this is just a fad, it'll blow over, eventually we won't have to worry about it anymore. Well, in a December article of the New York Daily News did a piece on auto-tune, and they asked Elliot Wilson, who's the editor for XXL magazine, which is a famous hip-hop magazine, whether they think it's just a gimmick and whether the market will become saturated. And he said, oh no, it'll be fine, it'll blow over, I guarantee it'll be over by the spring. This article was written in December 2007. And still today, it's been 2 years, and we still have people who are going out and using this kind of method. So as you can see, this is a problem. The music industry is becoming the same. And like I said earlier, I'll tell you now how this has happened before. Back in the 60s and 70s, a man named Bob Heel invented what is called a talk box. A talk box is a guitar effect where it's plugged into your guitar and you talk it to a little tube. It's called a talk box because it sounds like a guitar, but you're really speaking into a little microphone. And Peter Frampton used it very heavily in his career and became very popular, and eventually artists started copying him. And while it was popular back in the 70s and 80s, no one knows what talk box is anymore. No one uses it anymore. So as you can see, these kind of gimmicks are just cyclical. They go through and people use them and now no one remembers them, which I predict will be the exact same thing that'll happen with Auto-Tune. So as you can see, I have described to you, Auto-Tune is a problem that needs to be fixed because it is saturating the music industry, and like I said, it's happened before with a different kind of method, a different kind of software, different kind of program. So everyone says now you got to find your voice, but it seems that we're losing our voice by using Auto-Tune.